start out talking to you guys about Hurricane Patricia that just came through Mexico on October 20th. It was started and it came in through Mexico and hit land on the 23rd. Here's what it looked like from space. Scott Kelly is an astronaut who is up there right now at the International Space Station, and he took this photo on the 23rd, right when it was at a Category 5 storm hitting the coast of Mexico. Just some quick stats about this. Like I said before, it was Category 5. Winds were clocked in at 200 miles an hour. I do have a video of the plane that they flew. The National Oceanic Atmospheric Association have these guys come out, and they're called the hurricane hunters, and they fly planes through the hurricanes. They clock wind speeds, all these kind of things, and they're flying straight through all this turbulence and everything. It's pretty cool. The hurricane was the fastest intensifying hurricane in Western Hemisphere history. It went from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane within 24 hours, which is phenomenal. The Hurricane Katrina took 3 days for it to get to the size that it was. And Hurricane Katrina was a lot bigger than this one. It was, I believe, like 34 miles. This one was only 15 miles from the eye of the hurricane to the edge of the hurricane. This is just about like how you can see where it started. It started out right in the ocean, spent most of its time there. And it did hit, when it hit, it was Category 3 and Category 4, and then it kind of picked up some intensity along the coast as well, and went Category 5 as well. And it started dissipating when it came back up to the northern parts of Mexico. So, and luckily that was where a lot less of the population is. We're in between Manzanillo and Puerto Vallarta, which is north of where the hurricane was. It's very an unpopulated area, and $110 million were done in damage with only 8 fatalities, which does sound, it's not as much as say 1800, which was in the last hurricane that was recorded at a Category 5 that hit Mexico. There was 1,800 people there that were killed. And this, like I said, it only lasted 4 days. Most of the reason why it only lasted that long, they say, is because of the harsh terrain that it had to go through, all the mountain ranges and stuff. Really slowed down the storm. So. Yeah, this is just to show you the population again. Like I said, Puerto Vallarta up here, population density, and then right where the hurricane really went was kind of not very many people there. So the small towns and stuff that it did hit, it obviously impacted them very, very highly. But most of the damage came to like banana fields. All kinds of crops were destroyed. But in most circumstances, they say it was when the people that did die, it was because they just didn't take shelter or anything like that, so they were really exposed to the elements. And I got a radar video just to see what it looked like. And this is over from the 22nd. Let's see if I can play it again here. This is from the 22nd to the 23rd. This massive thing. Unbelievable. There's a bright side to this storm, like I said. In 1959, 1,800 people were killed in Manzanillo, which shows you was on the south side of where the hurricane, the eye of the storm was going through. There was nearly half the homes were destroyed there. Up in the mountains were major mudslides. They had wiping out roads, and people couldn't get aid towards the people that were affected in those areas. And oddly enough, with the mudslides, hordes of venomous scorpions and snakes were just crawling around and biting people, and that also added to the death toll. It was very odd. Some more optimistic thinking for you guys. I don't like to, focus attention always on the down part. Patricia was really small storm with really high, fast winds. but his total energy was only 25% of Katrina and 50% of Camille's, which is relatively nice because it's not a very high damage area that it went through, and with the fast winds, it would have probably created, even though it had less energy, they said it probably would have created upwards of the same amount of dollar figure in damage. Due to the unfortunate circumstances, there was an earthquake in '85. The Mexican government was forced to implement a nationwide emergency response plan. So they were way more prepared for this one by just using social media, TV to warn people to get out of the elements, go take shelter, just be safe, get into safer areas. Here's the tweet from President Enrique Peña Nieto. I think I got that right. Yeah. He's talking about the storm is already on the coast of Mexico. Do not go. Protect yourself. Follow the signs for civil protection. And he's on the lookout for you. I just found that kind of nice that he's out there doing the best that he can, looking out for everybody, and anybody who has a phone that's working at that time can see his tweet and kind of run for cover. I got some videos here as well that let's see if they'll work. They're pretty interesting.
And even impacted the coast up in the northeast as a hurricane. So recapping the season so far, Ana made landfall as the earliest tropical storm on record, so we had that one. Danny was interesting because it was our first Category 3 hurricane. Erica, remember this one, pointing at Florida at one point, coned over Florida as a hurricane. That didn't happen. It sort of got eaten up by Hispaniola. And then Joaquin, that was the big one of the year, because really there was a point where Joaquin looked like it could come back toward the U.S. and even impact the coast up in the northeast as a hurricane. That didn't happen, thankfully. So we did have some storms.
I was going to do a presentation on
the activity
Joaquin before
it was
it didn't even end up hitting
and that was a kind of an early season storm back in June. So we're getting toward the tail of the season. 90% of the season is over with. Once you get into October, you can get a storm, but obviously more the exception than it is the rule.
Okay. And then I got two more for you here. This is the footage of the planes that I was talking about that were flying straight into the hurricane, getting video footage of.
Is that an unbelievable view or what? This is a view of Hurricane Patricia from up on the International Space Station. This was on Friday, taken by astronaut Scott Kelly. It's been retweeted almost 40,000 times at this point, as it well deserves, because it's really just very fascinating, I think, to see something from this perspective. And to contrast it, it looks so serene from up in space, even when you're in real time. But once you get down in it, of course, it's a much different story. These are the hurricane hunters back on Thursdays. They were kind of surveying some information inside there. Very important job, by the way. You can see they're in the eye here, so it's kind of calm. But it's a different story when they move through the eye wall. And these guys fly right through the worst of the storm. And remember, this was the strongest storm that's ever been recorded in the Western Hemisphere. Look at that. Listen to that. I like flying. I even like some turbulence and weather geek. But I'd still probably be a little bit scared to do that. So these guys have a lot of bravery, and the information is so
I couldn't believe it when I saw this video. I couldn't do that. I hate flying as it is.
Being properly prepared for a flood can mean the difference between life and death. So we've got 5 tips to help keep you and your families.
And here's the other one. This is someone who was right
you guys
there.
Last night, I guess the eye wall hit us because this wall of wind and rain just swept in, surrounded the hotel. It was a complete whiteout. The building started to tremble, and then it started to just blow apart. And my chase partner and I, we retreated to our room. A scared hotel worker joined us, and then people across the hall from us, their room just blew apart. The whole ceiling of the roof just blew away. They ran into our room. And we ended up 8 of us, 6 adults and 2 very small children, crammed into a tiny bathroom under a mattress. And that's how we rode this out.
And Josh, approximately how long would you estimate you guys were holed up in that sort of sheltered area?
Probably about 20 minutes when it was just like it was just going crazy. You could hear the roaring and the crashing sounds as the building was getting blown apart. But our place stayed safe. The roof blew off of our area as well of the building, but our ceiling stayed, so we ended up being okay. But the worst of it was about 20 minutes, but it was an intense, it was like being inside a tornado, basically.
And he was one of the guys
October
who,
24th, 2015.
he read the tweet, and this is how I found that video. I saw that he read the tweet, and he liked the tweet, so I went and seen on his Twitter account, and sure enough, he had this video on there, and then I found it on the news as he got interviewed. So, yeah, that's my speech on Hurricane Patricia.